Welcome, ladies and gents, to FACEIT TV. It's time for the North American FACEIT League. I'm DDK, and I'm joined by the one and the only Norwegian guy. What's your name?
Halvor.
Nice.
Well, I guess my nickname is Vendetta.
Cool. You're trying to make that sound cool. I appreciate the effort.
Dude, it is badass. It's Italian like Blood War. How
What?
can you Vendetta?
Is it actually...
It's basically
the
like...
etymologies.
Yeah, it's basically taken, like, you have the Viking origin, right?
Right.
Just like Blood War between, like, if...
Right, Blood War. Let's go.
If you killed my brother, I would have to kill your brother type of thing.
I don't have anything against your brothers.
No, but, you know, we'll make something work.
We can make something work.
No,
Okay.
but, yeah, so, and
Alright.
Vendetta is...
This is how you Vikings operate. I mean, I'm just a wholesome
just a
guy from England. You guys came and
invaded you,
You
yeah.
raided us. You took us. I don't know.
By the ankles.
Whoa. This is getting real.
It's getting rowdy real fast.
Liquid versus Cloud9 is going to be the first match. Let's take a look at the schedule so we can understand how to plan our evenings. In fact, let's not plan our evenings. Just stay on the stream.
Yeah.
Don't turn your eyes away.
It's pretty much the best option for you.
Yeah. Well, especially at this guy. This guy is murderous. He might come and murder you. Liquid and Cloud9, Cobble. That's going to be an interesting start. We saw Liquid yesterday. Maybe you could say they were having a little bit of a struggle on Cobble. Bit shaky. Then we're going into Complexity X-Elevate, I should say. I really wish they would pick a new name. God damn it, Peter, please, pick a new name.
X-Elevate just rolls off the tongue.
They had a great performance yesterday against Liquid on Cobblestone, actually, and they are going to play Complexity there. Very different dynamic Complexity, so that's going to be an interesting one. Following it, of course, X-Elevate versus Winterfox on Mirage. No idea what's going to happen there. Of course, we still have 3 players from that lineup playing from Europe on ridiculous ping.
Is Pyth still in Europe?
Honestly, I have no idea where Pitt is.
He could be like in the middle of the Atlantic right now. Who knows? But maybe 3 people playing from Europe, maybe 2. For Winterfox, you probably hope it's going to be 2, but
yes,
remains to be seen.
Maybe they'll get some standings on the go. It should be good. But, well, let's check the rankings and see how these matches are actually going to impact the standings and how these teams are, what they have to do. Cloud9 at the top there, so they're actually sitting pretty, which is good news considering that Cloud9 definitely have had, when it comes to, the LAN landscape, let's say, they haven't been doing as well as previous months. So that's good that they're doing a good job at the moment. Luminosity up there, the Portuguese, the Brazilians. No, well, I guess it's close enough.
Portuguese.
Well, you say close enough, but if you say that to a Brazilian, they're like, you want mates.
Yeah.
I am going to punch you in the face. So Liquid are just done on the table. They usually do very, very well. I guess I actually almost wanted to say this. Is this updated? Because I felt like they lost yesterday, but they did actually close it out against Elevate.
Well, they probably should have lost, to be honest.
It was Elevate's game to lose, and X-Elevate's game to lose, and that is an experience.
They did it.
Indeed. So Winterfox and Complexity struggling, and that is how things are standing at the moment. So we're going to have to rush into our Alpha Draft picks, guys, because we don't have much time to lock in a team, and we absolutely want to lock in a team because...
Got to make that money.
We got to make the money, but we also... This is usually a humbling experience for us. Because we're very high and mighty in our caster chairs, and this is what brings us down to reality. Because they were like, okay, we think this, and this, and then we are wrong.
Yeah. No, we definitely are. But we're really good at Unicorn, though. Yeah,
we're pretty gangster with Unicorn.
Yeah. So this is just like having to ease into this into stuff. So I guess the one thing we have to take into consideration is the fact that X-Elevate are playing 2 maps.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They're the only ones playing twice.
So in my book, I'm thinking to myself, we're just going to stack the team with whoever we think is going to win between TL and Team Liquid and Cloud9 and Elevate players.
Because I think, this is weird.
Yeah,
whoa, why
way too
are
expensive.
they so goddamn expensive? My God.
Inflated stats.
Who is this guy?
But, okay, so this is also one thing we have to take into consideration. The fact that Elevate are playing versus Winterfox, who have people with massive ping.
We can basically, we can make the assumption X-Elevate are going to crush there. That's a legitimate assumption from how the past matches for Winterfox have gone.
So I think the first thing we have to decide on is who's going to win, Team Liquid or Cloud9.
I would say that's oh god, that's a very difficult one to pick. Actually, let's go with Cloud9 just because of yesterday's result with Liquid.
Yeah, I think so too. So
I think Cloud9, the domestic matchups are a little bit more problematic for Liquids.
Yeah. So now it comes down to who do we want from Cloud9?
Stewie. Oh, sorry. Well, he's not Cloud9.
Yeah,
But
I'm thinking of
want
Stewie anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Slemmy from Elevate.
Yeah, Stewie, Slemmy. Stewie and Slemmy. In they go.
And I guess well,
never thought I would lead a Alpha Draft selections with Stewie and Slemmy, but hey, that's pretty legit today.
Yeah. Well, as for you can tell, yeah, Reese high on Hiko, but this is the thing. They're playing Cobble. They looked weak on Cobble yesterday. They didn't look, supremely good on it.
It's a difficult one. It's a very difficult one.
Yeah.
I would like to select Elige. Generally speaking, Elige I think can often be a safe
he's
bet.
cheap, so I guess that's the redeeming quality right now.
But it also means we need to commit towards Liquid players if we're picking another one in that matchup or another player from that matchup. Because the rest is essentially X Elevate. We have to go in on X Elevate, and they are expensive. So it's a tough situation.
I think we're staying away from WinterFox players. I mean, if Pyth had been in NA right now, that would have been amazing because he's gonna his KDA is gonna spike. His stats are gonna spike no, there's no tomorrow.
And they don't have a stand-in. There's 3 players from Europe too, so
WinterFox's
chances are definitely
we're
gonna be
just
hindered.
staying far away from that. But I guess we should probably pick the team. Should we go for Elevate? Are we? I think they should win versus WinterFox.
Let's just take Elevates.
Yeah.
Let us take Elevates.
How much money do we save on that?
Because I feel like we.
Actually, they're more expensive than Cloud9.
We have to try to say X Elevate instead of Elevate because they are not Elevate. Elevate is an organization to which they do not belong. So
True.
They really need to select a name.
Can we just
fly
make
over
a name?
there.
Can we just make a name for
Well,
them? Like Panda Bros or something?
Panda Bros.
I don't even know.
That's creative. Last time I just went with Team Lazy because I feel like giving them.
Well, pandas are lazy.
True, but I don't want it to be implicit. I want to just explicitly say, you guys are lazy. Pick a name, god damn it, so that we can actually. Lazy pandas, huh? Pretty sure he says. Well, let's just get the players in here because.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm done with this.
Cloud9. That's our team. And go with Ska. Now we have to go deep. We have to dig deep.
Should we just go? We're gonna have a Kasim G moment there. we got to go deep, guys.
Should we just take the cheapest player we could possibly find on NA? Yeah. Okay, so.
Oh god.
Wait. Okay. No. Actually, we need one of the not in EU guys. So that's gonna be like Lex or Anger. I'm gonna go with Anger because he gets frags online at least.
He gets frags online.
Yeah.
Pause online.
But that gives us room to pick up one more player. And who do we think is gonna be the best choice? I'm thinking
Semphis.
You think Semphis?
Semphis.
All right, go with it. We used all our dollars.
All right, so now we have locked in a team for Alpha Draft. We can of course move on with our lives.
Yeah.
And because you know what, I don't want to linger there because the more I remember the players, I mean they're not gonna, it's not gonna go well for us. So I just want to forget this. Yeah, I want to move on and forget. And speaking of which, we have Unicorn to do, so that's going to be good. We're usually quite good at Unicorn, so let's jump into the Unicorn and get our gambles on. Oh my god, look, it's us.
Hey. I love my post-shower hair.
You've got quite the James Dean thing going on the cliff, man.
It's a mess.
God damn.
It's a real mess. Look at that. So much money. Like, we're just building bank. Stacking up that cash.
All right, we've got all the unicorns. So, what match are we going to pick? We usually try to go for the value bets, and this time around, I
guess WinterFox is going to be the value bet.
No, that's not happening.
That's not happening.
That's not happening.
Well, look at. I mean, yeah, Complexity has okay odds, but
there's value bet, and there is.
But look at Team Liquid as well. I would say that's.
We have to go for Liquid, I think.
Yeah, I'm in for Liquid there.
All right.
I love the fact that every time we do this, we go opposite of the team we choose in Alpha Draft.
Yeah, pretty much. That should tell us something because we do well in Unicorn, but not in Alpha Draft. So, anyways, no Reese. You don't bet everything. Bankroll management. I'm trying to teach you this. Bankroll management is an important skill set if you're a poker player or any kind of person with a bankroll of any kind. Just generally speaking, the life bankroll management is good. Yeah. So, we have our choice. I think that's fine. Because this is really just anyone's. Between Liquid and Cloud9, it's completely anyone's. Especially with these domestic matchups, they become very difficult to predict. Unlike when we have the European FACEIT League, then things are a little bit more easy to predict actually, because you don't have these domestic matchups. And for those of you that are wondering what does he mean domestic matchups, it's just there's this element when you're making decisions. Oh, you want us to bet again before I go into this tangent? Because I'm going to go there.
Reese is becoming an addict.
The tangent is coming. Reese wants to bet.
Yeah.
So
you can do this on your own response.
Okay, Reese. We give you the
now.
power.
Yeah.
We give you the power.
Wow, 20. So can we collect this from you if Complexity loses after the cast? Okay,
right.
Good.
Okay, so we are going to be awaiting the first match to start Liquid versus Cloud9 on Cobblestone. Just to go into that point a little bit, because we are waiting for the players to connect. The whole thing with the domestic matchup is the issue that when it comes to decision making in Counter-Strike or just any game, just anything in general, competitive, you have decisions, at least in the way esports games work, which is esports games work with, you don't have complete information, you don't have perfect information. Unlike, let's say, chess, whereby in chess you can see everything.
See the entire board.
Esports' information is a big commodity. So in that sense, like poker, you don't have all the information, so you have to essentially there's always an element of gambling and prediction that's going on as to what's happening. So there's two ways of doing things. Like in poker, you can, for example, I actually won't go into poker. So, I have this tendency.
I was waiting for it. I was just like, it's coming.
I could see the smile. Okay, I'm gonna reel it back in. So generally speaking, in Counter-Strike, you have this situation where you can either get information to try to make decisions based off of that, or you can use the metagame. And the metagame, of course. And again, for newer viewers who aren't used to these terms, the metagame is going to be decisions or information that you can use to make decisions based off of stuff that's not happened within the game, but it's based off of stuff like trends that have happened or ways people do certain things. That's trends essentially.
The statistics, pretty much. You're playing it off of what's the norm at the time.
And that's why the domestic matchups get so weird. Because essentially what you can do is you can outgame a specific opponent because you know the very specific trends of certain teams within your region because you play them so damn much. And this is actually a problem. I'm sure Moses would love me to talk about this because I saw he made a big post about this recently. This is a problem with having a small pool of teams to play against because essentially you have the practice partner problem, which I've had as well in the past, where you play too much against one or two opponents and you have a results-oriented way of looking at the game. And so you're not playing good Counter-Strike. What you're really doing is thinking way too hard into the meta of that specific matchup, and then you're not playing correct Counter-Strike. Then you go to Europe and you get wrecked. Yeah,
basically you're not playing to improve. You're playing to beat the other guys.
Exactly.
That's a horrible way because as cliche as it sounds, you learn more from losing than you do winning.
Yes. That's true.
And that's something that people need to keep in mind when they continuously lose. It's the fact that if you lose, you're doing stuff wrong. So there's definitely things you can pick up on and do better.
It's always been an issue with, and again, I saw Moses talking about this because I know it's a very hot topic in North America because it's always like, why is this disparity in skill and so on and so forth, and and I think Moses said cultural, and I think that's a good word to use because it does describe how the masses of the Counter-Strike masses in North America view their practices essentially. It's too much of a pissing match essentially, more or less.
I think that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's usually this happens because you don't have enough competitions. That's normally where this mentality comes from, and it happens in games with smaller communities as well, where all of a sudden, of course, importance shifts onto winning practice and ego shifts onto winning practices and the smaller things like that, and you care too much about investing there than you do the grand scheme of things. Whereas in let's say a very nice environment, let's say which Europe has had for a long time, there's so many tournaments, so many big tournaments, so many teams to play against that it's very easy to see that the real value is in winning those big tournaments. So everybody understands that winning a practice game, you're not a badass if you win a practice game, and so then the natural thing is to say, I want to use this to learn and win those big games. Yeah,
it's kind of like setting your goal to be you set out to be the best team in your country. You're not really thinking big picture because if you are amongst, let's say, the top 3 teams in your country, then you're specifically going to start to play in a way that's going to be effective versus the 2 teams, but that won't necessarily work versus anyone of a higher skill level. So if you want to improve, you actually need to learn how to beat how the good teams play.
Exactly. And I can understand too why it's difficult because I came from a place when I was like a completely stupid, idiotic player. I was just like mechanics only, and I just copied people, and I was frustrated, didn't know I would lose, all this kind of stuff. And I think again, it's in the nature of esports in that sense, because the games are based in this way where you don't have full information all the time. There's no it's even worse in poker, for example, because in poker at least you can say, well, this against this has this percentage chance to win.
Yeah.
That's it, right? But in Counter-Strike and Quake and games like this, it's very hard to quantify what is good and what is bad. You have to create your own system and framework of understanding to then understand was this a good decision or is this a bad decision? You have to completely create that by yourself. There's no guideline to do it, and there's no number values anywhere. You got to just quantify it all by yourself, and that's why I think people are very results oriented, because it's hard to create that system. It takes a lot of time and effort.
Oh yeah.
And
you have to be a reflective person. You have to actually be able to understand that it's again, cliche, see the big picture.
Yeah,
it's
hard. It's really, really hard. So I completely.
But that's also why you see people plateau as well, because some can get really far on just individual skill, and that's fair enough. They have great talent at playing CS or playing Quake or Dota, what have you. But if they don't actually play in a way where they are interested in learning and just basically becoming better at the game, then you're going to plateau instantly.
It's actually
basically if you are result oriented and have that mindset, then you're not going to improve.
It's a classic issue, isn't it? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not talented enough." Because we have this culture to reward talent and to put talent on a pedestal. When in reality, if you look at it, like the same, like what Vendetta was talking about there, that happens. Like people that are talented can sometimes just get so far by individual skill, they're never forced to do the hard stuff and be introspective. And then all of a sudden they're like, I've got all these habits and I don't even know what is good or what is bad. I've gone this far just on individual skill, whereas the hard workers can get past that.
And then you have the quote that says, hard work always beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
That's incredibly true. You can have the most talented player in the world, but if he doesn't actually take the time to develop his game and his skill, then he's gonna stop at some point. And if you just put the time and effort into doing something better, then you're gonna surpass them.
And this is a matter of time. And the funny thing, because the counter argument would be, well, why should I try? Because if the talented guys all just have this environment where they work really hard, then they'll never have a chance. But that actually said is that the entire point as well, partially, is that it's actually kind of rare that you get the guy that's super talented that works super hard. That's really rare, because the mindset of a very talented player is endemic not to actually be of this mindset,
this work ethic.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of this natural thing, and it's rare that you see both of them combined in one place, which is why I think Korea has developed a lot of superstars in StarCraft, and why the difference there is so huge. Because everyone by default is a sick hard worker, because culturally they reward hard work heavily, and it's deep into their culture for the last, I don't know, more than a couple of centuries. Yeah. So they have that situation where it's like, well, if you're talented as well, you're going to be a superstar.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's